Welcome to Ohio Tabletop Gamers and greetings from my garage. On today's episode, I like to go over my 2,000 point competitive Jackals list, specifically designed to play in tournaments. Now this list is for a very aggressive play style. If you are not an aggressive player, this is probably not going to be a list for you because it requires constant movement, constant attacking. You'll see why when we get into the units, but just a brief overview is there is no shooting units in this list at all. It's all about melee, it's all about speed and quickness. So here in a second, let's go ahead and get into it. So starting at the top, I do not have a leader or hero in this list. There's a reason for that. One of the main reasons is that the special abilities that the heroes get, there's only one that helps you get a +1 in melee. That's the only one that I actually like. The other ones are kind of subpar because boosting and shooting, the Jackals just are trash at shooting. So I don't see any use at all in having a commander in this army. Yes, I know it has that one +1 boost in melee, but is it really worth the points that you're paying to get that +1 on one unit? I don't think so, but that's my opinion on it. So that's where we start. There is no leader, there's no hero in this list. So starting off with the first unit are the Hounds. Now I take 3 units of Hounds, 10 in each unit. Now this is basically like the core of this list. These guys are quality 5, defense 5, so they're cheap. But what they have, of course, is fast, they have scout, they have strider, and I've given them the hunter's breed, which gives them furious. So on 6s, they deal 1 extra hit. And vicious bite, which ignores regen in melee. But they also get the army special rule, scrapper. And when attacking targets, the target must reroll unmodified defense rolls of 6 when blocking hits. This combination is perfect. You get these guys to scout. All of the Hounds scout up, right? They get fast, so you're going to get right up on somebody, charge right into people, and you're getting extra hits on 6s when you roll with you get the furious, and they ignores any regen, and your opponent has to re-roll defense of 6. These guys are great at going after vehicles and chaff. But if you can go after vehicles with these guys, you are doing great because you want that vehicle to have to take a morale check, a quality check, right? Vehicles aren't fighting back, right? You get in there. They have no regen. Well, most vehicles aren't going to have regen anyway, but they have to reroll 6s. Now, your attacks, are AP 0, right? And it doesn't matter because if they fail even 1, they're morale checking. And there's a possibility on that morale check, they could be shaken. And that's the whole point, is hitting these vehicles is really good because you're running 10 in this unit, and you may not get all of them to be able to get around that unit to all of them get attacks, but each attack they get 2 attacks each. So even if you're getting 6 or 7, 8 maybe into the attack, hell even 5, it's 2 attacks each one, and all you need to do, because you're going to guarantee win this melee, is get them to fail 1 morale check if possible, right? And a lot of times vehicles, like HDF and them, they're going to be on the quality 4. So the odds are, 50-50 that you're going to be able to shake a tank or a vehicle right out of the gate. And if you don't have one in sight, these guys will chew right through chaff. They'll chew right through T3s, and the same thing. Yeah, now you're just talking about, getting hit back, and your defense is 5. But with 2 attacks each, with no regen and extra hits, there's a possibility you're going to win these melees right out of the gate and either shake these people, rout them, or even fatigue them. You're going to throw your opponent off their game. These 3 units need to go, and they need to go right now. Not any hesitation. No hesitation with this list. This is all about getting right after an opponent. Get right up in their grill and hold on to them, because these guys are holding it for your secondary and third wave to come in. So this is my favorite units out of the whole list that I have. These guys have won so many games for me. And once we get into the different scenarios for the tournament pack, that's what this list was designed for tournaments and competitive play. So I will talk about that later near the end of the video. Next up is my Beast Riders. Now I'm running 3 units of 3 models in each unit with these guys. And this is my mid-levels. These guys follow up right behind the Hounds. Now, the great thing about these, start off, they have quality 5 and defense 4, and they're each tough 3. So you're basic mid-level. But these guys have bounding. So you get a D3 plus 1 movement, basically, before you move. And since this army is so aggressive, you're only going to be rushing and charging throughout this game, mostly. I mean, there's no reason for you not to rush and or charge every single turn with all of these units. So these guys are a great secondary, a backup to the Hounds. With that bounding, it really helps. Now, these guys, out of the 3 units, I'm running 2 units of harpoons. Now, each unit, they're going to get 2 attacks plus thrust. Now, this is great because thrust, when you charge, you get a +1 to your hit rolls and AP1 in melee. Okay, so you don't need the leader if you're charging. You already get a +1, so you're going to be hitting on 4s. Now, the other thing they get is an impact. With this impact, you're rolling, impact 2. So impact 2 is good. So you charge in, you're getting an impact. Then you've got the harpoons, your attacks right there. You're getting a +1 to hit and +1 and +1 AP. So each guy's getting 2 attacks, AP1, and this is really good. Plus your impact. Now what I've given them is Fearsome Roar, which is a morale debuff. Now, once per activation, before attacking, pick 1 enemy unit within 18, and it gets a -1 to its morale test. Again, this is good to go after the vehicles. Now you're taking a point of their morale check away, right? So if normally a vehicle is going to quality check on a 4, well, now they're quality checking on a 5. And even if they don't leave the field, you may shake a unit, making them useless in the following turn. So, because all they can do is just unshake. Now, obviously, if you hit a vehicle that hasn't activated in this turn yet, then they're just going to use their activation to take their shaken off. But it's still, they're not hurting you. So that's really good. These guys are great at backing up your Hounds. Plus, let's not forget, the Army rule of Scrapper, they're going to have to reroll any 6s to block. And with you hitting them, if you're charging in and you're getting the AP +1 with your harpoons, right? And that's just, makes it easier for you to negate these guys. And they're also good, again, with chaff. I wouldn't use them against chaff unless you absolutely have to, but they're good, definitely good at hitting your T3s, your opponent's mid-level guys. But vehicles, get these vehicles out of the way. And again, they're already getting a +1 to their attack on a charge. So again, you don't need the hero or officer giving them a +1. They're already going to get it. So these guys are great. Now the last unit, because I just talked about the two with the harpoons, is the goad spears. Now the goad spears, giving them 2 attacks with precise and scratch. Now precise, again, gives you a +1 to hit when you're attacking, so you don't need the officer again. You're already getting the +1. And scratch is where if you're attacking a T3 up to a T9, the weapon gets an AP2. So you can have 2 attacks at AP2, right? And you're hitting on 4s. You also have the impact, because that's built into the Beast Riders, right? And you get the Scrapper, where they're re-rolling their 6s again, and you put the Fearsome Roar on there, which gives them the morale debuff. So it's all about shaking these units. You want to get in there with these guys and shake your enemy. Rout them. At the very least, fatigue them out. You want to get right up on your opponent with this list. So the Beast Raiders are great, coming right behind the Hounds. No hesitation. Go after your opponent. And finally, rounding out the list, I have 2 great beasts. Now, these are quality 4, defense 2, tough 12. Now, these are wrecking balls. These guys are great. Now, you'll see at the top, I do have a gunner on top because I just thought he was cool, but there is no shooter on this model. So, okay, so this guy has got the bounding, just like the Beast Rider, so you're getting the D3 +1 of movement, and then you're just going to rush, you're going to charge, you're going to smack into something. This guy is absolutely a beast. I've given him Fearsome Roar, so it has the morale debuff, so your opponent's going to get a -1 to their morale checks. It has a thing called Brutal Charge I put on him, so it has an impact of 6. Now this is awesome because when you hit somebody, you got the impact 6 before you even do your attacks. He also has Massive Jaws, which gives you 6 attacks at AP4, and Stomp, which is 4 attacks at AP1. He also has the Army Special Rule, where your opponent has to reroll 6s. This is really good. He has Strider, and on top of all of that, he has Fear 2. This guy is a complete beast on the field, and bringing up right behind your Beast Riders, behind your Hounds, and then hitting opponents with this guy is absolutely insane. Again, these guys are really good. I've had many fights with this army and really good results. You have to be extremely aggressive with it, but these guys are no joke. They really wreck anything they come in contact with. But again, you have to get the charge off for the most maximum, usage out of this guy. So make sure that you time your movements in that to where you can get your charges off. You can get your morale debuffs. I mean, you can even use the morale debuff on these guys to help other, units out, if needed. It doesn't always have to be just, before you charge in. You can use it to help out the Hounds or something if you want. But, you definitely need these two. These two are wrecking balls. And I almost made a mistake. Not to be forgotten, my last 2 units of this list are 2 units of 5 Vultures. Now, these guys are very good. They're quality 4, defense 4. They have crossing attack, which, it's not really all that great. It's cool if you ever can get it to go off. If you go over enemy models, you get to roll to see if you get a hit. I've never really had much use for it, but it's there. Every little tool in your bag is good to have in case you need to use it. But really what these guys are for is ambush. To score points, to get in your enemy's deployment zone, to get behind them, to redirect. I carry 2 units of these 5-man vultures in my list, and I have them armed with explosive spears, so they each get 2 attacks at AP2, which is very decent. And they have Scrapper, which is the Army special rule, which, your opponent has to re-roll any 6s. But mostly these guys are used because of their ambush. They are flying, so they can go over the terrain and models and stuff, which is, needed if you're going to use the crossing attack, obviously. But these 2 units are really good utility to get secondary objectives at tournaments and competitive play. They're also good just to, if you need to drop them to buff up, to retake an objective or anything like that. It's always good to have at least 1 ambush in any list you build. But with the Jackals, again, these guys are good utility for pretty much anything you might need. You might need to get a guy, over to your enemy's deployment zone right now to score that, secondary point, or they left an objective to, come after you, and you can go ahead and tag that. Endless uses for ambush units. The explosive spears aren't bad. No guns in this list, no shooting whatsoever. And they don't need the up on their quality because they're quality 4s, and that's good enough for what you're using them for. So that is the full list. Now we'll talk just real briefly about the scenarios in the tournament pack. So one of the reasons why I do not put a hero in my list in the Jackals, besides the fact that they don't need that +1 to hit, it's just not worth the points, is that there are 2 scenarios in the tournament pack where your opponent could score points, secondary points, for destroying a hero or hero with his unit. Well, you've taken that away from your opponent by not having a hero. Now, I don't know if OPR eventually will force you to have a hero in your list, but right now they don't. And so you don't need to have a hero, at least not with the Jackals. Now, there's a lot of armies out there where you need the hero for buffing and debuffing. They give, the magic spells, which I'm not really keen on magic in this game, but there's uses for them. I just cannot see the use for a hero with the Jackals, and an added bonus is 2 of the scenarios is, you've denied points to your opponent. So that's pretty good. Now, also, with this list in the tournament rules, or tournament pack, I'm sorry, you are going after these secondaries. Now, depending on the scenario in the tournament you get, there's 4 total in the tournament pack. Obviously, objectives are key, to getting the most points. But this army is also good at scoring these secondaries, and that could make or break a game for you. So if you get a chance, get the tournament pack and look at these secondaries. I won't go over everything in this video, because you can look at it, yourself and see what I'm saying. Is that if you are pulling a list that is extremely aggressive and able to get around the board real fast, and this army can get around the board very fast, you can score secondaries, at least 1 out of every scenario. And some of these you can deny your opponent from scoring some secondaries. Simply by not having a hero, you've taken 2 possibilities out of scenario 1 and 2 from your opponent from scoring any secondaries because you don't have a hero. So again, it's about nickel and diming your points in these secondaries that will help you win these games. It's not always, not every army is about going right after an opponent, and I know that if you're more of a defensive player, this is going to make you uncomfortable. But this is a really good aggressive list to score those secondaries. So I hope this helps if you're looking into playing the Jackals. The Jackals do not have a lot of options to them. The Jackals are not considered to be the top tier in most of these tier lists that you see here on YouTube, but I really like them. The main reason why I picked to play them is because they weren't rated very highly, and I wanted to try to see if I could get them to work. Right away, I noticed that trying to stop and shoot at anybody with this army is a mistake, at least in my opinion. Now, granted, I'm not the world's biggest expert on anything, so if somebody else has found a better way of playing this army, great, and I wish you the best of luck. But the way that I've set this up, I win a lot with this system. But you have to just keep going. You have to read the board. You have to, watch your opponent and what they may or may not do, but be extremely aggressive. Do not back up on anything. You got to grab them and just hold on to them. And if you do that, you get these secondaries, you'll win games and you hold objectives. I mean, just look at the tournament pack if you're interested in playing competitive. Look at the list that I'm putting in front of you, and you can see, at least in my opinion, that this is the best way to run the Jackals. Again, I'm not an expert, but this is what I use, and it's worked very well for an army that struggles with options, because the Jackals do struggle with options. So I hope this helps you if you're going to play the Jackals, or you can modify it around. Let me know what you think. How do you run the Jackals? If this has been helpful to you, or if you wanted to modify it, something I didn't see, something that works even better than what I'm doing, I'd be very interested in that, because I really love the Jackals. So anyway, until next time, I wish you and your family the very best, and I hope that you have many wonderful games ahead of you, and take care.